talk me through your story. I didn't realize you had a big badass space like this. That's 20,000 square feet. Seems like you just moved in. Doesn't seem like there's much dust in this building, but I'm sure there's a crazy story to it. So if you could tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll get into mentorship after that.
Yeah, man. So I'll start with the space. So the space is owned by a guy named John Hollenbach, awesome investor, real estate entrepreneur. He was an early investor in V-Simple, the company's office we're sitting in right now, and one of Render Capital, my firm's portfolio companies. We were early investors in those guys. And we've got the space upstairs that we call the hub. And it's meant to be a place where collaboration, connection, and real work gets done at the same time. So we've got crypto back office venture studio out of the Caymans. We've got B2B SaaS entrepreneurs. We've got life science entrepreneurs. We've got healthcare startups, family offices, agencies, all that fun stuff. And it's meant to be a place where we can collaborate and connect with each other intentionally.
And so is this like co-working model almost?
It's not really a co-working
you invest
space.
in these companies, incubating them, bring them in?
Well, kind of, sort of. It's quasi the anti-co-working model, right? Where a traditional co-working space, you can just walk in off the street, do some kombucha shots and get in there. But here, the intent is not like the old school boys model, but we want to have a vetted community of people that are actually going to get to work, that are actually going to be highly intentional about their connection and collaboration and get work done. So
I love that.
Yeah,
that's cool. Awesome, man. So take me like somewhat to the beginning, not to necessarily birth, but tell us about your first memory that was significant that led to this. And kind of where you guys are at now and what's going on.
Yeah, so maybe not the beginning of Earth, but I kind of a weird pathway into entrepreneurship and venture. I had a first life in the Army. I grew up, in Houston, Texas, and then knew I wanted to be in the military. Went to West Point, got 2 degrees in civil engineering, and then started looking for roadside bombs in Afghanistan.
Wow.
And then I jokingly but seriously say, like any good entrepreneur who still can't spell that word to this day, I became one. So built and exited 3 different companies, moved from San Francisco to Cincinnati around 2016 to help grow a fund of funds there. And really the impetus for coming down to Louisville was the massive opportunity that's here throughout the Midwest and South, investing in founders like Buddy and the team at V-Simple, other founders in our portfolio here in Louisville, like Steven and Logan from Forecaster. There's so much opportunity throughout the Midwest and South that needs access to customers, capital, and talent. And that's what we focus on.
I love it. So you're joining us as a co-host at our business hop on the 29th. We're very gracious to have you. Thank you.
Yeah,
it means
thanks
a lot.
for coming.
In that spirit and light of mentorship, talk to us about some of the best advice that you have on your mind for anyone. You see founders, you see startups every day.
Yeah.
What are some of those key pieces that you're like, you guys need to do this stuff?
Yeah. First and foremost which is why I love we're doing this, is the number one piece of advice that I've got throughout my entire entrepreneurial journey: build your network before you need it, and do it authentically. It's not a transaction. It's a real relationship. But there's always value that can be given from both sides of the equation. So build that network before you need it, because you have no idea. I'll give you a short example. So one of our portfolio companies out of Tennessee called me the Friday after Christmas and said, "Hey, I got a crazy question for you. Do you know anybody who's done work in the Ecuadorian government?" And I was like, well, let me make a phone call. So one of my buddies who I went to high school with grew up in Ecuador, now lives in Spain. He's got a ton of family ties back in Ecuador. Short story long, I connected those guys over the phone, and wham, bam, less than 48 hours later, they had support in Ecuador when they needed it. Less than 48 hours. And I haven't talked to Alejandro, my buddy from high school, in a decade, maybe 15 years. And so it's building that network before you need it.
What do you see? Like, when you see people make mistakes in that vein, what are they doing? Just like too transactional, too rigid?
I'm an eternal optimist. So I'll say how people should do it right.
Yeah.
So our core values at Render are trust, transparency, and communication. If you don't enter relationships, whether it's with your wife, like my beautiful wife, whether it's with your family, your friends, your business relationships, we were just talking about this in the hall. If you don't have those 3 core values foundationally, I think that's going to set you up for failure. And conversely, if you find quickly people you trust, people that are transparent with you, people that communicate and often over communicate, you guys are going to go far.
100%.
Yeah.
Living authentically,
100%.
being truthful.
And be you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing. People think they have to be this persona to make it and be successful. It's just like, be you and surround yourself with others that augment the capabilities that you have, and go help others, and it'll come back.
100%. Want to dive into some specifics on your career path so far. So
yeah,
tell me about some of like the best you've ever felt, or like one of those like highlight moments you've ever had, or where you were like, wow, I might have made it in this moment.
Oh man. Well,
and how did you get there?
Yeah. Well, first I'll say marrying my wife, because that was largely the most obviously largest personal success, but selfishly for us, she's a multi-time entrepreneur too. It is amazing to be so equally yoked with somebody when we sit around the kitchen table with our daughter and our family, that we can have life on life conversations and bring our daughter into that too. Cause I didn't have that growing up. I didn't really have entrepreneurial parents. My mom barely even graduated high school. Right. And so it was really cool to have that opportunity to share at such a young age. Cause my wife and I are high school sweethearts, and we've been together ever since.
You're getting mad points right now. Is your anniversary coming up?
Well, her birthday was 2 days ago, and my daughter's birthday is today.
You're feeling the love, man. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
To that same vein, what has been one of the more challenging situations as an entrepreneur that you've been in? How did you overcome it? What kind of mindset should you have when you're in those like valley moments?
Yeah, I think, you came in earlier and said, like, have you lost a ton of weight? And short answer is yes. And the long answer back to your question is, again, back to that trust, transparency, communication. The struggles that I've had in life has been with people in my sphere that I have willingly, because you allow people into your area, right? You allow people into your life. And I've kept people for far too long that did not abide by those values of trust, transparency, and communication. And so those things, if you're able to figure that out quickly and authentically be you, I think you're going to be much more successful and frankly, much more emotional, physically, mentally, spiritually stable than you would otherwise.
That's a really hard thing for, I think, so many people to identify, is knowing when to step away from those, how to identify it.
Yes.
Can you talk through what would you have done different? I know for me, I've kept people in my life for like 10 years, and I look back, I'm like, 1 year without them, like, what the hell was I doing?
Yep. And you're not being mean or rude, right? You have to focus on what's best for you and your family and your business, right? And I think for me, like, one very tactical thing is my wife and I started this, I guess it's a framework or a process. It's called the Monk Manual. It's actually an entrepreneur out of Cincinnati who went through the Ocean Accelerator. And basically it's like OKRs for your life, objectives and key results, but it breaks it down in a daily capacity. So if you go look on my desk, leather bound, analog, by the way, because I used to do this on Notion and there were so many notifications that were coming in, I had to go with analog. So analog, what are your 3 priorities for this day? What are you looking forward to? And then importantly, on the backside of the day, what were your highlights? Where did you feel unrest? And where did you feel that you were your best? And those 3 things, and then it levels up into week, into month, into quarter, into year, into what do you want as your life? There's another book in the same framework called the Life Atlas. Like, where do you want to be? Where do you want to take your family? That was so centering, not only from a long-term perspective, but from a daily perspective, to have those priorities. You get to be able to be focused on the things that matter to you and your influence.
So that is a big piece of your daily life.
Huge, every day.
Tell us more. So I think a lot of times where great entrepreneurs are found and discovered is in their daily habits. What do they do? How do they do it? Are they multitasking? Are they not? Are they focused on this, that, the other? What is that for you on a daily basis?
Yeah, so I would say first and foremost, wake up and have quiet time with my family. So we go to our office in our house, and my daughter the Monk Manual has this little thing called a Sprout Journal for kids. So she does that. My wife and I do our own Bible studies. I've got a group of men that keep me accountable biblically, spiritually, and business oriented wise. So that's what I would recommend, even if it's not a faith-based thing, if that's not your thing. Find a group of business people that you are aligned with that keep you aligned to not only your business goals, but also your personal, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual goals that you have for your life. So that's foundational. And that's step one. And then typically, as soon as we're done with that, I'm interacting because some of the guys in that accountability group are on the West Coast, so we text. We don't really call every day. So I put in a short text or word of encouragement and replies and memes and all that fun stuff back. And then breakfast with my daughter and wife, take my daughter to school right down the road here on River Road. And then my wife and I are at work. And we're using those priority pieces that we've outlaid in that morning time where we've been, and all of this is analog, by the way. Before we get into work, it is all entirely analog intentionally. So there are no notifications flying in, all of that stuff. We're able to focus on what we need to and then take that focus throughout the day.
That's fantastic, man. I'm in a men's group myself that is 20 of us or so.
Yeah.
And I think the most valuable thing about it is it's scripture based, so we can really lean on what does it say there. But B, it's very easy to get an ego and very easy to think you're the man, and you got to have some dudes that love you, that chop you down. So that's really great to hear. A couple more questions for you. I know you got to wrap up in a second.
Yeah.
Talk to me about some of the exciting things going on in your world. So you've got, there's a venture capitalist, right?
Yeah.
It's very exciting. There's 10 different ways you could probably answer this question, but what are some of those things that are at the tip of your head or tip of your tongue that's exciting you right now in your world?
I think I'll just go back to a call yesterday that I had with a large top 3 bank who came into town last week. And they just said in one line, man, Louisville has it going on. And it's so fascinating to see these folks who used to be, at Silicon Valley Bank or somewhere on the coast. They moved back to the top tier bank in the Midwest. And now they're looking at Louisville and saying, there's something here. 10, 15, 20 years ago, that would have not been the case, right? There weren't places like this. There weren't startups like Buddies. There weren't, co-working spaces like Story. There weren't angel investments groups like the Kentucky Angel Collective and InvestBlue. There were parts of the ecosystem, but they were scattered, right? And that's what I love so much about the intentionality of the events that are now being propagated. It's let's cooperate, let's collaborate, let's be transparent about all our goals and objectives. And look, we might not be aligned on something, but the things that we are aligned on, let's go run after them together so we can go after the collective.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for the event coming up.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I'd say on the fund is doing awesome. So we originally started with a single LP vehicle called the Louisville Community Fund. That was exclusively geographically for Louisville and Southern Indiana founders. Multi-asset vehicle, debt, venture debt, crowdfunded equity, Shark Tank style competition. That was awesome. Our official fund one for Render Capital launched about 3-4 years ago now. $15 million vehicle we're still actively investing out of, and we're in the top quartile, meaning the top 25% of all VCs in the globe, right here from little old Louisville, Kentucky.
Let's go.
It's so funny to say people like, you're in where? And it's, man, entrepreneurship, founders.
Jack Harlowsville.
Dude,
I
amazing people are everywhere.
I love it, man. Last question I love to ask is, what is something you tell yourself 20 years ago today?
Oh, man, 20 years ago to this day, be more focused and intentional. And I would say I'll go back to the monk manual, actually. At the top of every day, you have a habit and a theme that you're growing towards. And my habit and theme for the past 18 months, every single day, has been consistency and persistence. And I would say myself 20 years ago was still trying to figure out who I was and where I quite literally was in the world at that time, right? But those principles and values, consistency, persistence, and then the underlying foundation of trust, transparency, and communication, I wish I had that 20 years ago and not just 2 years ago.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Patrick Henshaw, Render Capital, excited to have him co-hosting with us on the 29th. If you guys are into mentorship, want to push mentorship forward here in Louisville, be there. Any last words for the mentors, mentees out there?
Build your network before you need it.
Love it. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, man.